I don't know about all that,
It's right here. It tells you it. Literally, everybody takes a nap for 20 minutes. You get rewarded for it instead of getting in trouble for it.
Huh.
Yeah, that's freaking cool.
Reckon? How come it says end call? Why is it saying end call for? Huh? F4G's on. I shouldn't have to have no see, call ended. Look, what? Look, let me try it again. Watch. Why is it doing that?
When somebody connects with her,
Huh?
somebody can have her phone. Go straight hitting the FU button.
Hey, Pamela.
Hey, Pamela.
Hey, Johnny. Hey, Tanya. Pamela. Everybody.
I'm sorry, the person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Please try your...
Okay, got 31 years in prison for killing his son, Emmanuel, in California. Well, that's good enough for him. Should have got more than that. Y'all doing all right? I know the quality on that little short video I made down there at the cemetery. Some spots wasn't very clear. I'm gonna have to start doing some that's closer to some of these towers around. Because really going live is really never just perfect, picture. So, doing good day, good deal. How's your mama?
I'm sorry, the person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that...
Said on it wrong 2 or 3 times that day. I don't know. I was trying to get a hold of Wanda where we could all hear her. I'll try again in a little while. Hey, Alice.
Hey, Alice.
Doing great. Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, don't let me forget to try to hit her back up here in a little bit. Let's see. Somebody said something on Messenger. It was a. Let's see. Who is Robin Lane? Robin Lane. Yeah.
I've never heard of him.
Yeah, 5 on, 2 lights. Come on, guys. Robin Lane. I don't. For summer.
Wait, how do you have another package?
I just shop on AliExpress. You could get 3 items for 99 cents.
I didn't believe it until I
Get
tried
off
it.
my seller provider.
What was it like having her in your arms?
Oh, it was just so sweet. There were times, I'm going to admit, there were times it was frustrating because I'd be trying to lead a class and teach, and she'd kind of be in the way or doing things squirming. I'd say, "You put me in a squirmy tail," and she's just moving around all the time. So there were times it was frustrating, but I loved it. I loved it. And now looking back, I'd do anything for another day with my little squirmy tail girl in my arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When 5-year-old Summer Wells vanished on June 15, 2021, her mother didn't call a neighbor or a relative first. She called the child's church teacher. Between 6:30 and 7 p.m., Candace Bly placed 5 FaceTime calls to Robin Lane. The same time investigators later logged as the 911 window. That overlap has never been clarified. Robin was at her daughter's dance rehearsal, unaware that those missed calls would make her the first outsider tied to the case. When she finally saw the messages, she rushed to Ben Hill Road and discovered something even stranger. Some officers searching for Summer hadn't yet seen the girl's picture. The first photo they used came from Robin's phone. If her
If she was not notified ahead of time, how would she have known to be there to meet everyone? Where is the conversation going to come from when it goes back to after the church business? We've done heard what goes on in there. That TikTok that they took down and just snapshot a picture of. If this is the day she's talking about, then that would have been a call to Don, a call to Robin, and then a call to the sheriff's office after Don says so. Well, it was Kathy. Um, I took on Summer. Hey, John, how you doing, love? They said hey to you, Christine.
Yes.
They're saying hey to you.
Hey.
She's got her ear thing
Sorry.
in on her. Uh, hanging in there, love. I don't even know who coached them to well, send me a picture of it and you wearing it. That's the way it's got to go. You got to get on that fan wall. Just turn the light on where it won't be dark. Everybody can see the logo on it. Send it to my messenger real quick, and then we get it developed down there. And that reminds me, Connie, you'll need to send in a photo. Kathy, you need to send in a new photo. Joanne, go ahead and send in a new photo. Rest of them ain't on here yet. Yeah, go ahead and send me that, and that way we'll have it. Now they'll all be 4x6s, up here, and we're gonna be doing this, but we're gonna extend this wall right here on out to the very edge up here. Hey, Lynn, how you doing, love? We hanging in here, Kathy. That's about it, though. We actually had today to well, she had work today, and I know we had a few hours left of daylight, so she had enough. We went down there and got her a haircut and had it layered. They took off about 12 inches of hair, and she is proud of it, buddy. All right, we're going to listen to some of this, but back to what I was saying. This started out as a TikTok. If anybody remembers this, and it wouldn't Candace doing it. The only part I think she had in it was photoshopping it. Because during the TikTok, after about a few days, it was gone. But then pictures started surfacing. And at one point, you can see that the grandma took a picture where you can see Candace, you can see Summer out there about chest deep, and then you can see Hunter about knee deep going out towards Summer. And then the next thing you know, there she is laying on a bunch of cold milk in the back seat. Well, I asked who snapped that picture. And Summer and Rose both said, well, Summer said Granny. And Rose said Mom. And not only photoshopping things in that first clip, but if you look real close, you can see one of them is in an SUV And then you can see one that's in that old pickup truck. And you can tell it by seeing the cooler sitting in the back. And not counting like tools and things such as that. And with the first picture that they photoshopped, you can see that it had a back glass, so you can tell it was definitely an SUV. But in the truck, you can see right through the back window and see, see the cooler and the tools and whatnot. So somebody had her take that down pretty quick because the water's fitting to get hot. And I'm just telling you, that when I'm financially able, I'm going back to 110. And there won't be no drive-by looking and all this time. I'm not going to do that. I'll go and introduce myself. I'll be as kind as I possibly can for a little bit. Okay. And what they don't realize is if I made a comment one day. I said that, I know that Don didn't kill Summer. I like that. And the heat was on pretty good. The heat was on pretty good. Okay, love. Yeah, them's never fun days for them babies. Keep her occupied with something else and just kind of rub them spots a little bit, put some pressure on them, rub it a little bit, and that'll go away. And I did that to see how things would retreat to me. And we stopped getting ignorant comments and, whatnot. And I mean, if anybody's followed Summer Wells's story on my shows, you'll know exactly what happened. But with them being photoshopped as far as the vehicles go, I don't know if during the frantic of things, because the church school was fixing to start for her. She was going to start school. Went to the church a lot. They had to clothe her up so well that you couldn't really see the skin on her. If so, you'd seen all the bruises. Now, I think that Summer took a liking to this Robin. I really do. But I think when it comes out to wash, I think that each one of them, Candace, Robin, the granny, if she's still alive, a couple other people, and some of the other people that had some things to do with stuff before the final act. I heard that she wanted to try to get custody uh, of the boys, Robin, and then she changed her mind. She didn't want to do it. But I believe every one of them was getting tired and fed up with Summer's energy. This little baby, when we're on, y'all can see how wild and frequent she jumps in and says this. She's gonna put her 2 cents worth in no matter what. She's one of them that can't meet a stranger. You know what I mean? And people have taken that for granted. Just like she just said a minute ago, if I could turn back time, I missed that baby. But she was so uh, into things, wiggling and whatnot. What the hell you think a kid's gonna do? Church out. Hey Lisa, when I went to church when I was a kid, 3 or 4 year old or whatnot, Mom and them put us under the bench and I'd sleep. That's exactly what I did. But to complain about anything that Summer was trying to do, she did it out of love. She didn't do it to try to get on your nerves. Mm. She, everything Summer does, even if we start talking to a new child or teen or adult, she's got it for the last over 5 or 6 months. She'll tell them, shh, don't cry. Like her right there. She's got a heart size Texas. They fool with the wrong child, I'm telling you. And I would not want to be nowhere near their shoes when the Lord comes back. But we'll see what this nut job's got to say. And I sure ain't going to hold my breath because I croak here on the show. So she may say some hit and miss stuff. I don't know. No, we don't. And, no matter how you take Summer, little kid or whatnot, feisty, but she did it out of love. She had 3 brothers. She wanted to be just as good as they were. I believe Summer looked up to older people than she would have ever anybody in her age group. And that's what they knew in school was supposed to start coming up. But all in all, this, like I said, this could have been prevented if Candace would have been a mother, not giving alcohol and drugs to a minor, and being in a public place, knowing that it would have caused her to go to jailhouse. But it still would have been considered an accident. It it didn't it wouldn't plan to do this. You can ask Summer today, just if you watch all my shows from Summer, you'll hear her say it. She'll say, I'm not mad at Hunter. She said it was just I was under too long. And she didn't drown. She didn't drown. It was just pulling her back up out of the water. That's what snapped it. But couldn't call 911 because did Rose's mama get rid of her daughter? Uh, no, that was her old man, and well, everybody knows the other one. There was two involved in that, um, and then they uh, cremated. So, um, and they're they're going to try to keep coming up with stuff. Like I said, even after these babies laid to rest and everything else, it's not going to be put out to the public, not for a while. Because people, believe it or not, are crazy enough to go and dig up a grave to see if someone is in that coffin. It happens daily. People from around the world has heard Summer Wells. Hey, Patricia. And they're going to keep this thing rolling. And CIS, CPS, all of them right now are just sitting in the back, just letting people say and do what they want to do. Because they done got their part over with. And they're not going to give out any more information for them. And they're probably thinking eventually if somebody don't mention something, we might well shut up and move on to the next person. That's when, they when the state picks up something, they got a right to not tell a soul where that person's buried. Now, the only ones that could really probably get the answer to that question would be one of her brothers. Because they sure will not ever tell Candace and Dawn where that baby has been laid. Good deal. Dadgummit. I told you would, love. Had a lot of prayers going out. Faith works miracles, don't it, love? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When one of the brothers gets, old enough, whatnot, he can ask. And he still may be escorted to where she's at. But right now, what they want to do is just keep everybody, hey, Alicia, keep everybody thinking that everything is still the same. Not nothing else new, just seeing what people's coming up with and just blowing it off. Summer is Summer is fine, but there's still something missing that she will always hold above her daddy's head, because she wants it back. It was hers. It was something that she loved, and it's just people making fools out of themselves. Like I said here a while back, that's why I backed out for a little while. People need to let authorities do their job. And if one of the boys want to see where she's at, then that'll be up to the state. There's been too much controversy about it. It's been a publicity stunt thing here. Yes. And that continues to do good. But, Robin, just from my own personal thought, and everybody got an opinion, but mine is, I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her. And that probably wouldn't be too far today because my back's hurting. So I have nothing for this lady. And I think Jody Sue also talked with uh, Robin, and everything started getting pretty well crowded up, and she moved. But I've kind of heard through the grapevine now. The grapevine, y'all know how the grapevine works. I've done several sessions, and at one time she had a book that they kept down of every activity that had never taken place with Summer. Well, Jody Sue had it at one time. Um, and I talked to Rose about her, and apparently they are at least two bodies on her property. And the night that I mentioned that again, and that she was in the background, about a week later, she moved. But now I heard through the grapevine that they're fixing to start looking on her property as well. Not for Summer, but to see what they can find. I don't know who the person is. Only her and her people would know. But there's at least two. Hey, Connie.
Hadn't yet seen the girl's picture. The first photo they used came from Robin's phone. If her recollection is correct, then the official timeline isn't just incomplete, it might be wrong.
If the first photo wasn't on her phone of Summer Wells inside that church, why else would she have had a picture of her? They met her at church, you know? Exactly. She got the heck out of Dodge.
Elaine
Grapes are
remembers
closer
the
to the
evening
ground than a
clearly,
lot of people
not
think.
because of what she saw, but because of what she missed. While taking photos at her daughter's dance rehearsal, her phone began to light up again and again. When she finally looked down, she saw the name on the screen, Candace Bly. 5 FaceTime calls, one after another, between 6:30 and 7 o'clock. She didn't know it then, but that same window of time would later appear in official records as the moment Candace dialed 911 to report 5-year-old Summer Wells missing. When Robin finally returned the call, Candace appeared on screen crying, her voice shaking. "Summer's gone," she said. "I called the police. I don't know what to do." It sounded like panic, pure and unfiltered, but it also raised a question investigators never fully answered.
That right there. I'm telling you, when somebody talks a paragraph, I can tell within that paragraph a lie and how many. And I've caught 3 so far. And y'all know how to back it up too, just to find out for sure. When, well, Let's let her say that one more
If
time.
Candace had already called the police. Lane remembers the evening clearly, not because of what she saw, but because of what she missed. While taking photos at her daughter's dance rehearsal, her phone began to light up again and again. When she finally looked down, she saw the name on the screen, Candace Bly. 5 FaceTime calls, one after another, between 6:30 and 7 o'clock. She didn't know it then, but that same window of time would later appear in official records as the moment Candace dialed 911 to report 5-year-old Summer Wells missing.
What has not yet been told is that she was not at no dance class when she was getting these phone calls. She started getting phone calls when they were at the drugstore and the grocery store. And just so happened she was there. When she walked out, she could see Summer in the car. The only thing that anybody said on her behalf was that it was awfully weird for somebody to buy that many gallon of milk. She was just leaned over in the seat when Robin seen her. But then when the picture surfaced with her leaning up on that milk, she had a pretty good idea. So it had to be pretty quick. Within the first hour, 2 hour deal, because rigor would start a factor, at that time.
When Robin finally returned the call, Candace appeared on screen crying, her voice shaking. "Summer's gone," she said. "I called the police. I don't know what to do." It sounded like panic, pure and unfiltered, but it also raised a question investigators never fully answered. If Candace had already called the police, why was she still trying to reach Robin? And if those
So if that's the case, hey Carol. So if that's the case, all right, which I ain't ever seen people nowhere just dumber than a box of rocks. I'm telling you. All right, so she would have had to run and remember. Candace didn't want to use her phone. She threw her phone in the back of the truck and used a different phone and called him off Messenger, done on Messenger FaceTime, and told him about it. Then if what she's saying is so, then once she seen Summer in there laying up against the milk, that's when she snapped a photo, and that's when I guess I would assume that maybe when they were coming out of the parking lot, maybe she seen Robin leaving. Didn't know Robin seen anything. But it was said, why would anybody buy that many gallon of milk? So, so if that's the case, then she called him, then she called her, and then she called 911. So she had time to run Hunter home, come back, let her mother out, get the milk out of the car, take it in the house, come back out. And the story that she went over there to help put mom's knee brace on, that was a daggum lie. She was out there getting milk out of that daggum car, and her Middleton's boy uh, said something to Summer, and Candace said, she's not asleep. And Summer said so, plain as daggum day. So they have no credibility, none. Everything that they've ever said is just hogwash. The proof is in the pudding, period, point blank. If I come out of a grocery store and it anywhere from the 80s or 90s degrees, and I seen a child with a jacket on, leaned over on a 7 or 8 gallon of milk, probably that you can see, and I don't think she was propped up on that many. I think it's 4. The rest of them was in the floorboard. And seen a child lean up against a milk like that and have a grayish color to them, I think the first thing I would do is pick up the phone and walk behind the car, call 911, and give them the tag number and say, I think something strange is going on. Yep. That's where, like I said before, people sometimes just don't want to get involved when they can save a life. But sadly, hers was gone. But all this could have been avoided, every bit of it, if she just wouldn't given alcohol and drugs to a minor.
Time calls came before 911, then the report to law enforcement came later than claimed. The two timelines overlap, but they don't align. In a case built on minutes, that single...
Every charming little town has a dark underbelly if you know what to look for. How did you say he died?
I didn't.
The two timelines...
Hey, I got a question real quick before we get back to this. Have y'all seen that commercial coming out with that movie, Carol's Oil or something? What's the name of that, Christine? That movie I want us to see. Carol's Oil or something like that. Carol's Oil, something like that. If y'all see that commercial, y'all watch that. I want to go see it. Anyway, I don't know what made me just think that, but hey, it's been yes. Did the baby settle down? Sarah's Oil, yes. Sarah's Oil. I want to see that.
overlap, but they don't align. In a case built on minutes, that single overlap could alter everything. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation statement placed the 911 call at 6:30 p.m., Robin's account, given in July 2021 to retired homicide detective Chris McDonough on the interview room, places multiple FaceTime attempts during that same period. Unless Candace made those calls simultaneously, one of the records is off by minutes, maybe more. In child abductions, those minutes are not trivial. They define the moment the child was last seen, the start of the search radius, and the possible movement of any suspect or witness. Why did Candace call the church teacher first? Robin's bond with some...
Why would she call the church first?
was not casual. Each week, the little girl ran to her arms at church, clinging to her during songs and lessons. She just wanted to be loved, Robin said. That simple observation, repeated in several interviews, reflects more than affection. It explains instinct. In moments of crisis, people often reach for whoever feels emotionally safe. For Candace, that wasn't a family member or a neighbor. It was the woman her daughter trusted most. There is also the nature of the call itself. FaceTime isn't just communication, it's display. It allows the caller to be seen, to show emotion, to prove distress. When Candace placed those calls, she may have been searching for validation, for someone to witness her panic and
No. I believe she spotted Robin coming out of the parking lot and didn't even give a think about if she might have seen what was going on. But the only thing she called and asked Robin is if she would get the boys. Uh, I don't know if she was talking about uh, adopting the boys or what. I don't know what the conversation was. They won't nobody get the story straight. But anyway, Robin backed out of it, and I think that the reason she backed out all of it is she knew that it was going to be like this right here.
confirm it was real. In crisis psychology, this is called a mirror response, a way for the mind to process shock through another person's eyes. It does not indicate guilt, but it reveals the chaos of the moment. Still, it also means that instead of focusing on coordination or immediate search, Candace was reaching outward, looking for emotional connection. When Robin hung up, she didn't hesitate. She went home, packed flashlights, snacks, and batteries, and drove to Ben Hill Road. She arrived around 9 o'clock, roughly 2.5 hours after the calls. The scene that greeted her was chaotic: yellow tape, flashing lights, police vehicles lining the dirt road, helicopters overhead. The stillness of Beach Creek had been replaced by confusion and noise. Robin parked at the bottom of the hill and walked up, ready to help. But what she encountered next changed her understanding of the night entirely. When she spoke to officers at the scene, some admitted they hadn't yet seen a photo of the missing child. Others said they had. To Robin, that made no sense. How could an organized search begin without a unified image of the girl they were looking for? She opened her phone and showed them one of her own pictures. Summer smiling in a bright dress, her short hair shining under the church lights. According to Robin, that image became the first visual reference used that. It's a small detail, but it matters. Called a sing on. Called a sing on. According to Robin, that image became the first visual reference used that night. It's a small detail, but it matters. Without a current photo, descriptions vary, memory falters, and false sightings multiply. Taken together, Robin's account exposes two cracks that formed in the very first hours of the investigation. One was a time gap, the unresolved overlap between the FaceTime calls and the official 911 log. The other was a communication gap, the lack of consistent information among first responders. Neither is speculation. Both are verifiable procedural weaknesses. And in missing child cases, those weaknesses often shape the outcome. If the FaceTime calls came before 911, then there was a delay in initiating the emergency response, minutes lost that could have been spent searching. If they came after,
your job depends on reliable tools. That's why Harbor Freight is committed to offering quality tools to pros like yourself.
Searching. If they came after, then the calls reflect a mother's inability to process what was happening, cycling between police and trusted contacts for reassurance. Either version carries investigative value. The timestamps, if retrieved from phone records, could confirm which sequence is true. Robin's testimony does not accuse, but it clarifies. It offers an independent account from someone outside the family, someone who can mark the beginning of the public timeline. In a case where
during that time right there on that video, they had shaved her head bald on that one.
Speculation has drowned facts. Her words reintroduce something measurable. public should interpret her behavior patterns leading up to the disappearance. If Summer had no communication impairment and exhibited selective speech, it suggests a higher level of situational awareness. A child capable.
That child can say any daggone thing she wants to. There's some words she still gets, you know, some things she puts an S on, you know, little things, you know, here and there, but she's got better.
Capable of reading social context and choosing when to respond is less likely to follow a stranger or wander without recognizing risk. In perception, church members who see a family as faithful are less likely to notice signs of trouble. It complicates it. If the calls began before 6:30, it would suggest that Candace sought personal reassurance before reporting the disappearance to authorities. If they occurred after, it would show her seeking comfort after the formal report was made. Either version matters because it changes how investigators interpret the window between realization and action. The moment.
Yeah, they nothing they gonna do about that part.
0 cost buys on Temu. Grab the app now.
Never sue the other driver after a car accident. There's a better way to get paid a way bigger check without having to go to court.
Hey guys, vehicle coming and going from Daniel Martel's house on Gairloch Road. So very specific. Half a dozen polygraphs during their investigation, and the first two were on May 12th with Daniel and Malaya. That the video recording is of a phone conversation between grandmother Patty Pearson and first cousin of Patty Pearson, Darren Geddes, aka Darewood. Now, the conversation between Darren and grandmother Patty was recorded on the night of June 21st. So it's not clear if Darren knew he was being recorded, but it's not clear if the and why would grandmother Patty Pearson record him? Is there something more to the?
Well, I mean, he was there when she asked Daniel and Logan to take Jack's body and hide it. Well, next thing we know, he got his car in the water. The next thing you know, he's in the hospital. I don't know if somebody was following him that night or not, but it kind of sounds like it.
Story that we just don't have yet. But CBC News did interview him on July 4th, and he shared similar theories, but only theories and none of the information that we're able to get it. Malaya, when reached by the Canadian press by phone on Friday, declined to provide a comment. She is not commenting to anybody.
See?
And thank you so much. This is super thanks and coffee gratitude from our last.
Well, won't even speak. I mean, and I don't understand even people claiming that they went up in the jailhouse because they are a clip to where she was going to get interviewed and talking through glass. And after a few words, she wouldn't answer any of the questions. Just sat there with her head held down. So finally got up and went back. She knows what happened. She knows what she did. She knows what she had Daniel and Logan to do. She knows what they did to Lily. She knows where they put Lily. And like I said, again, I do not know how Canadian law works. Somebody said that Daniel was in a car wreck with somebody, his mother or somebody. I don't remember who it was. But if that's the case, then up there they have a bill as well on murder suspects. There's no way in the world that down here, even from the first part, admitting to hiding the body, you wouldn't be out of jail, period, till it came to a grand jury, before grand jury. So, them comments that they make up there in Canada, I don't know, because, like I said, they may have different laws. I don't know. But I would highly doubt it. I don't think that they're going to let somebody that hid a 4-year-old boy's body and a 6-year-old body that was also responsible for them 2 children just to go free. There's no way to get me to think that Canada is that stupid or that low. Now, if they set him a bail down here, I mean, you just on what that little bit was, you'd have a bond higher than $1 million. And we know they can't pay that crap. So, no. I think this AI stuff is kicking up pretty hard now, and they're making things come out where you don't know what's true and what's not. They make it look surreal. That's one thing that we did not need to come out is this AI stuff, because, like I said, plain and simple, you will not be able to tell much. On some of them you can, some of them you can't tell where it's AI mess, But I don't know. But anyway, I want us to think about it. Y'all have a night to think about it, and let's come up with 5 people, children or teens, whatever, uh, to fill our week up. Now, I don't know if any of you are early birds. I know some of you are night owls. You go in at 7, right? You go to work at 7, right?
Yeah.
So in the morning, yeah, hit that like button. Anyway, let's even if some of you say the same one or whatever, let's just try to come up with at least 5 and do it in order. And well, in any order, as long as we can come up with 5. And if there's any new ones that are hot right now, that's really circulating, send me a clip. But make sure that they have not yet been found. And we'll write them out, and all 5 of them, and we'll go ahead and do the first one tomorrow. But I want to go ahead and have them lined up down here so I can know who I'm dealing with, who we're going to be dealing with. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get off here and go rest a little bit. I love y'all. Thanks for being here.
I love you too.
And we will see you guys in the morning.